What is going on, everybody? A little bit different angle for me today. We got a lot to get to here, but I have a hurt back. I got a stand-up desk, so we're rocking the standing point of view. Let's get this draft board bigger for y'all. A lot to talk to. A lot to talk about, I should say, today. Let me just check that my mic is working. Thanks for being here, everybody. I am your host, three-time best ball champion, Liam Murphy. Let's get some lights on. So we're drafting a Best Ball Mania 5 today in the quest to repeat as champion and win Best Ball Mania for $1.5 million. Happy hump day to you out there. Wrote a free article today. It is free if you simply sign up. And it's about how to treat ADP risers and fallers. We're on the clock here. We had hopes of CeeDee Lamb or CMC falling with the news. Yeah, let's add to the Jamar Chase exposure. Defensible to take Tyreek, of course, but simply not a fan of Tyreek in the cold in Cleveland. You know, I take Tyreek at the 103 in total points contest, but in something like BBM, try and thread the needle here. I feel like Chase is more that guy for me. What's going on? Big Bird checking in. Yeah, we got a lot to get to. One, some of you saw, but I went to play a poker tournament over the weekend. Built a top 15 stack day one, and then promptly rocketed off almost a whole stack, losing pocket aces to a gut shot. Happens. Oh, well. Two, let's get to some news here. I updated my rankings as well for those who pay for beatbestball.com. That is $99 a year. For those of you looking for redraft rankings, going to have redraft rankings tomorrow. We'll update the DraftKings rankings after the stream and drafters tomorrow morning as well. But yeah, for those looking for those main event rankings and whatnot, I'm going to have redraft rankings. An important indication in the redraft rankings, I'm going to give this in the article, but it's important you just kind of like sort by positional ADP because I cannot account for how everyone's draft is going to go, right? Some of these drafts are going to start like Derrick Henry, pick 13, Kyren Williams, pick 14, you know, like Aaron Jones, pick 15, aka they're just going to start steaming running backs. And I would just adjust in those drafts, see how I rank the positions, and, you know, get how I rank the running back there. So the big news to start with, I would say, is, of course, the Brandon Aiyuk news. I personally am not going to talk about this a lot. It seems like, I mean, we just don't have any news right now, right? It makes no sense at all for the 49ers to trade Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk is young. Oh, wait, we might get Davis on for this. Let's share it with him. He may come, he may not. Yeah, we're getting. I think we're getting Davis in here. So enough of my news. Let's see here. Recently moved Achane up the ranks a little bit. We're just a fan of players who can go for 50 points. And if we're not playing Tyreek and the passing game week 17, makes way more sense to play the running game and hope that Miami simply scores the points through Achane. So yeah, trading Aiyuk makes no sense. If he's there at pick 28, I'll be taking him every time. I've been very high on Aiyuk. I had him at the 1-2 turn, basically. Recently moved him down the ranks just because I account for ADP in some of my rankings. Let's let the people know we're live with Davis as well. So yeah, Aiyuk, first of all, is it logical for Aiyuk to fall down because he might be traded? Well, I mean, the answer is no, but what his value will be will depend where he lands. Okay, let's get Metcalf here. We got a lot of Kyron Williams, so it's fine to go Achane Kyron, of course. But we're going the double wideouts here, double alphas. DK Metcalf and Jamar Chase, two grown-ass men. Anyways, if Aiyuk lands with, say, the Patriots, I think that is how people would view him the lowest. Well, in that case, Amari Cooper went for 1,200 yards and I think like 9 touchdowns with Jacoby Brissett starting 11 of the games, right? Jacoby Brissett, to me, is probably lucky to start 6 games in a healthy Drake May season. So I think Drake May will be a better passer than Jacoby Brissett as well. So I don't think Aiyuk's going to the Patriots, but that wouldn't be a death blow. I would say the Steelers is the one team where it's like, that does not feel good. Probably not a pass-happy team. Even then, he's going to have the DJ Moore spikes if he landed there. But that would be the one team where I'm like, don't want him to go there. Cleveland will be great. I think Cleveland arguably would be a injection of points. Redraft article is coming. Redraft ranks are coming tomorrow. Team Zach Moss, we up. Yeah, and so in this article, how to treat ADP risers and fallers, I touch on Zach Moss and Chase Brown. And basically, to sum it up, like for my portfolio, where I've drafted a heavy volume of teams, I have 20% of Chase Brown in the 117s, 120s, 140s even, right? So I am not going to be drafting Chase Brown at pick 100 at a heavy clip. Am I going to draft 0 Chase Brown? No, I'm going to draft him probably still 4 to 6% of the time. And importantly, a lot of my Chase Brown exposure is on 0 running back teams. Teams where I started wide receiver heavy and then get guys like Chase Brown, Rico, whatever. I am going, like, I would like to get my new Chase Brown teams. I'd like to get him as like a 4th running back in in a robust running back team. So like if I have like Achane, ETN, Ken Walker, Chase Brown's my 4th. Why am I doing that? Well, that's a different contexture of Chase Brown compared to my early drafted teams, which has better ADP value, right? But there's 0 running back. So it's just a different way to build your team and giving me additional outs where, okay, I'm not getting the best price on Brown, but I am getting different. Like the whole team is different when I build wide receiver heavy versus running back heavy to begin. I would also say that this year unquestionably, I think it was better to build wide receiver heavy to start the year, and something I'm doing to combat the soft money that is like, if you watch streams, you're not soft money. You're soft money if you're like, what's best ball, and you jump in there. Like that's soft money, to be clear. Yeah, I think we just have to buy the dip on Laporta. Bothered by a hamstring, but like, okay, that's not really hardcore news to me. They're in like 15, 20. Oh, Davis, you don't get 50% of the team for Joe. We'll give Davis a corollary 50% depending on which pick he jumps in. So if he jumps in at pick 10, he'd get 25% of the team. So that's up to him. Anyways. Yeah, I think it's been better to build wide receiver early because you're going to have these Chase Browns. It seems like Rico is going to rise soon too. You're going to get guys like that rising in price. Like Pacheco is really the only running back who's like risen in price significantly early. He opened up at the 4.5, even the 5.6, and now he's more trending towards 3.4. But then guys who I view exactly similar to Pacheco, they're just not on the Chiefs, is like James Cook and Rachaad White. They're going the other way. They're getting cheaper, right? So Other bits of news to get to here. Yesterday, I made the case on Davis's stream about Mike Williams and the Jets, and this is going to be another article I come out with. But let's first make our pick here. Let's get some Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is a guy whose ADP is moving all up and down the board. Definitely profiles as a potential league winner. I am not thrilled that there is Rice teams that pick 100, so I'm not going to draft him a lot. But it's better in playoff pod contests versus a total point contest, because I can simply hope that the cheap one is, or the cheaper teams don't make the finals, you know? Become a YouTube member like son of JT. Where do you think Aiyuk ends up if the Pitt trade happens? I think it would tank George Pickens' ADP, who I've been behind market on anyways. And I don't think he can fall past this 3-4 term. You know? Like, I think he'd still go ahead of probably Zay Flowers. But maybe he goes right behind him. But like, certainly he's not fallen into this T. Higgins, Kirk range of players, in my opinion. So yes, I made the point about Mike Williams, and also I touched about this in this article. Again, you should check it out over at beatbestball.com. But about Mike Williams, like Mike Williams ADP for most of the year was like around 9-10. Back when people understood that like he is probably going to open up on PUP, might not be ready week 1, but ultimately should be fine. Then he got announced on PUP, which he came off today after I wrote the article and made the point. So good timing there. But I saw Mike Williams go in the 140s, 150s twice yesterday. So he's been moving down boards, right? That is not logical to me, because why is Mike Williams moving? Like, did people suddenly realize that Mike Williams tore his ACL? No. Did people just realize that Aaron Rodgers is coming off injury? No, right? We knew these things. These things were baked into his price. And maybe he opened up a little bit too expensive. But to me, more likely what's happening is fear-based thinking started. So this is kind of like a vibes-based approach, right? Like Chase Brown going up in price, that's logic to me, right? People realize could be a league winner, and, you know, explosive player, plays for the Bengals, getting positive buzz. That's logic. Mike Williams falling in ADP because he might not be ready week 1, by the way, guys, you win money week 17 in best ball. And Mike Williams player prop on Hard Rock is like the same numbers as Chris Godwin, by the way. Now, player props is not the end all be all, something that another ETR guy tried to mansplain to me. Worthy is a smash here for sure. We get the Worthy Rice combo. Don't know what the Patrick Mahomes drafter's doing, giving us Worthy there. I think I like Worthy straight up more than Hollywood as far as like risk reward. Yeah, Mike Williams is off PUP today, but it was just fear-based why he's falling, right? Like people don't want to catch the falling sword. And so they see that he's falling past ADP and they're like, oh, do people know more than us? We don't want a 0, right? Like that's not logic. That is fear. And so I gave a couple examples in the article of fear versus logic based, and just how you should approach it based on how you've drafted, right? Because if I didn't have any Chase Brown, and I said this in the article, I'd happily be buying, right? Like that's like me with the Rashee Rice. I didn't draft enough Rashee Rice when he was in the hundreds. Part of that was because I was out of the country, but whatever. If I had 20% Rashee Rice in it with an ADP of 90 to 100, though, I would simply let him go, right? You got to just let some players go sometimes. Davis must be helping you off camera. Davis is fumbling around with his internet connection. Like, get me in there. I didn't know he got the Rice Worthy start. Get me in there right now. Okay. So this is a place to mix Lad, Keon. Like Lad is falling a little bit because he's injured. Keon just like might not be the wide receiver one in Buffalo. We're gonna go Lad because we have more Keon. Is Mike Williams a pure touchdown bet for you? A bet that both A-Rod and Williams are going to be totally fine as older players of the position come up. No, Mike Williams is an upside bet for me, right? If you want to say I'm not drafting Mike Williams because he might be a zero, okay, can't disagree with that, right? Can't disagree with that. Sure, go with God. To me though, I know for a fact that Aaron Rodgers can throw for 4,000 plus yards. I know he can throw for 30 plus touchdowns. Will he this year? I don't know, right? I'm willing to bet that yes, he likely can because A, all of his surrounding talent is good, defense, O-line, and B, like Vegas respects them, right? People who rank positions rank the Jets high. So it just seems like there's a lot of bias against Rodgers and the Jets. It's not exactly the best vibe-based scenario, right? But that's not how I think, right? And people love to say, "Oh, you're drafting this Bills player because he's a Bill," because I'm a Bills fan, right? Um, no, right? I'm drafting cheap players on ambiguous teams who I think are good, which I think Buffalo is a good team, right? But I draft Jets, I draft Dolphins, I draft Chiefs, you know? So I'm simply trying to draft players on good teams. And I know that Mike Williams can go for around 800 to 1,000 yards, and he can be around 10 touchdowns. And that is a smash, right? That is league winner type value when he's going in the 11th and 12th round, right? You're logically right on Mike Will. We just hate it. Yeah, I mean, people don't like the logic, right? It's like, and I'm gonna like, I people like to bring up the Odell Beckham. I think it's really, really terrible to say, look at Odell Beckham. Mike Williams is a bad pick. They have nothing to do with each other, right? The logic is solid though. Yeah, I mean that's what I try. Like I just try to apply logic-based thinking, and I think that's like one of my strengths as a best ball player. Mike Williams on DK is actually free too. Well, if I actually kind of expected Mike Williams to be more expensive on DK, but if he gets hit with the pup tag or the out tag, players, whoo, you know. So we'll see. Like I'm not smashing Mike Williams in every draft, but I'm willing to mix in the possible zero, um, because he's an upside bet. Whereas other people are not, right? Like I think Davis was like, no, I won't do it. And I think like it's okay to be out on Mike Williams. To me, though, it's quite bad. We're definitely going to be getting the Hopkins dip there. It's quite bad to remain out when a player is at his cheapest ADP all season. That, to me, is a lack of humility in your assessment of the player pool, right? So, okay, you want to fade Mike Williams at pick 109 because you like a running back? Sure. No, go for it. But when he gets down to the 140s, 150s, and you don't have any of him, and you're not even willing to mix him in there at like a 6 to 8% clip, right? Like roughly average. And the next wide receivers off the board are guys like Michael Wilson and Demario Douglas. Like some things to like here too, but quickly you're looking at Quentin Johnston and co. That's just a lack of humility in your assessment of the player pool, in my opinion. Zach Moss got some positive buzz after all of the let's get to this tweet. There's been a lot of Brown buzz. I'm still going to be drafting Moss when he falls. Ben Baby, Bengals Beat said, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow caps a successful move the ball drill with 3 straight throws to running back Zach Moss, including a touchdown pass on 3rd and goal at the 3. This is what I've been saying all offseason, especially to people who subscribe to my site, where Moss' path to being a league winner is... So let's see. Joe Burrow goes to, okay, the Higgins drafter. Logical. Anything to do here? Let's go Tony. Even though I have like Brown ranked right ahead of Tony, as we talked about for my portfolio, I have a lot of cheap Brown. Even though Brown totally could be a league winner. I think his value is fair there because he could go up. But yeah, the thesis for Moss is whether Chase Brown can pass protect or not is a question, right? And if he can't, then he's not going to play 2-minute drill. He's not going to play 3rd downs. That means Moss is going to get a lot of, pass catching work as well. Moss is the bigger back, profiles as the goal line back, and they have a smash week 17 matchup. So that's why I have a lot of Moss. I have a lot of Brown too because he was cheaper, and he's a more upside pick because of his athletic profile. Is Pittman more appealing now after the Downs injury, or is A.D. Mitchell more the beneficiary? I think Pittman benefits more, but also Josh Downs, high ankle sprain. The worry would be that he is something like Jerry Jeudy this year, which is like Jerry Jeudy, high ankle sprain in the offseason last year, and it kind of hampered him all season. 4 to 6 week timeline is what they're saying. So hopefully Downs is 100% the whole season. I didn't move him down that much in my rankings, but it's possible it hampers him the whole season for sure. But yeah, I don't think like Downs kind of profiled as like the slot wideout. I don't see Adonai Mitchell or Alec Pierce moving in and doing that. This is a much different team than you have drafted in the past, just getting unique. I don't know why you say that. I mean, it's wide receiver heavy, and I've taken 2 running backs and elite tight end. I don't think it's that different. Maybe you see what, like, I don't know, 2% of my draft volume. Maybe you're just making, like, through pure randomness, I could have streamed similar teams, and you're just making an assumption that I draft like that every time, which I don't. Favorite week 17 stack to target? I released an article talking through the playoffs, but quite like the Packers pieces against the Vikings secondary. Smash the like chat. Yeah, help me out. I'm really going to put an effort towards getting more long form video on this channel. I just think it's going to be easier to grow. So gonna be trying to do that, and going to need you guys to like those videos, because I don't know how the YouTube algorithm will treat me being almost all stream content to doing that. Brooks at 92 when he's missing 4 games is outrageous. Number one, we don't know how many games Brooks is missing. That is a quote where he said we're targeting week 3. He could play week 1 for all we know, right? Generally, what you do as a coach is you give your players outs to take longer. So if you say, hey, we're going to have him play week 2, and then he plays week 3, he looks bad. If you say he's going to play week 3 and he plays week 2, he looks good. So you are conservative in your guess there. Number 2, I think Brooks profiles as a potential league winner. I think his upside is huge, right? Like this is the week 1 depth chart brain you have. The week 1 depth chart doesn't mean effing anything as far as winning money for best ball, right? Who cares if Brooks doesn't play week 1? If he scores 35 points a game in the fantasy playoffs, you're going to need him to win. And I think he could be that. So I like Brooks quite a bit, especially on like teams where they already have running back points. Would have taken Wicks there. I mean, Shakir there. Christian Watson, banged up knee seems fine. And then also calf for Jaden Reed. But we're just going to take Goff here. Probably he was going to make it back, but like, I don't know. Let's see. This guy just took a naked Stroud, so he's not a guy to trust as far as like he knows what he's doing. These two guys probably were fine because they did show an ability to stack their quarterbacks. But yeah, I don't want to miss on Goff here. And I'm probably going running back, and I think it's a pretty flat tier where I can just take whoever's left at my next pick there. Do you play Super Flex? No. Z-Frog in the house. I generally don't play contests where you can't win a lot of money. My redraft rankings coming out tomorrow, but I don't know. It's close between Achane and Kyron. Zay Jones is a backup. Yeah, I've had Zay Jones ranked as like pretty much undraftable for a long time. I wouldn't call Achane and Brown backups. They're simply, yeah, right. Like it was a great pick to take Goff here when I noticed that this guy is just vibing out, right? Just taking Rodgers well above ADP. So we go. We're just gonna shuffle these three. I got a lot of wide receiver strength. I think Rico arguably is the highest upside one, where he just kind of seems like he's going to be the starter. I recently flipped Rico and Zeke in my ranks, where the vibes have not been great for Zeke. Gus, of course, is a bet against J.K. Dobbins, and just that goal line back. I mean, Zach Moss's rushing prop for week 1 is 5 yards less than Bijan, and Gus Edwards also plays the Patriots, who Zach Moss plays week 1. Corum, of course, is an upside swing, and I think he pairs well with Achane, where when you take Achane, you don't take Kyron, so you're leveraging off that in a big way. But yeah, we like the team so far. We got Goff to Laporta. We got Chase, Metcalf, Rice-Worthy, McConkey, Hopkins. We got Achane, Pollard, and Gus. We have some quarterback stacks set up with Herbert and Will Levis, as we have 2 Chargers and 2 Titans. To use a different strategy when drafting the marathon than you do in BBM, of course. The marathon is total points. These are playoff pods, so totally different. We don't care about week 17 in the marathon. But yeah, I do have a free article on that on my site about total points contests. Thumbnail photo is crazy. Was it good or bad? Chuba league winner? Almost certainly not. Do stacks matter in redraft? I generally do it when it's available. If you're talking about your home league, not as important. If you're talking about the main event, which is a tournament, then yes, I would want to be stacking there. Chuba is the guy. Brooks will sit. Almost certainly not, but you're welcome to have your opinion. Have you done any sprints? No. Yeah, Chuba league winner if your league ends week 1. For those of you newer to best ball, let's take you through some week 1s of the past. Week 1 last year, Achane didn't play. Week 1 last year, Christian Kirk scored 0 points. People like mega panicked week 1. You know, and it's simply not how you make money in playoff contest best ball. Period. Hypothetically, if you could only draft one of CMC, Bijan, or Brees, which one would you take? Well, I mean, that's not even a hypothetical. It's factual. You can only draft one of those guys. But if I could only have one this year, as in I only did one draft, it would be Bijan. CMC, hurt, calf. I said this last year, like Kyle Shanahan's being a donkey for not load managing CMC. like games they're blowing out, he's giving him significant work. Mike Williams, pick 138, definitely would have bought him at pick 140. It was me at a wedding is the photo. Like, I'm pretty lazy about the photos. Dylan Lobby league winner, almost certainly not, right? Like, kind of profiles as like a James White type. Unless like Zamir White doesn't play, just cannot be. We talked a lot about Chase Brown and Moss. You just rewind the stream. All right, let's buy this dip as our 7th wide receiver and final wide receiver, Josh Downs. Even if Downs misses week 1 or week 2, doesn't matter to this team, where Chase, Metcalf, Rice-Worthy, McConkey, all at a minimum I'm expecting to play. Hopkins probably is going to play week 1. And it's a good price on Downs. Hoping that this guy does not just take Justin Herbert, but he might. Don't really see these guys taking Herbert, but hey, they might too. Covered Aiyuk at the beginning of the stream. I just rewind. I don't think I said I was hoping for injury. Maybe someone else did. In the chat. Oh, here. Yeah, guys, general poor form is to like root for injury. I would recommend you don't do that. You could literally have 7 top 20 wide receivers on this team by the end of the year. I mean, even better, man. Like Chase can be wide receiver 1. Metcalf can for sure be top 5. One of Rice or Worthy could be top 10 to 5, right? And then, yeah, like the other ones probably all top 20, you know? So, yeah, we're definitely going to buy Justin Herbert here if we can dodge that guy, which we did. 2 week 5 buys. Unfortunately, Will Levis is also a week 5 buy. So not exactly our... I mean, we might do it. We might do the triple 5s. We might just do the Goff, Herbert, Levis, eat the 0 week 5, and just say, we're outpointing you so many points elsewhere that who cares? Scarecrow, appreciate you, man. For the super chat, 1080p, we got you, man. What tight end would you draft for the Giants if you had to? That questions like that's in my rankings, but the rookie, Theo Johnson. We've been there, and the news is we've been there all season pretty much, and the news has been following us there. What if QJ is the guy you need? I'm going to lose then. I don't think I've drafted QJ once. I do want to have like 1 or 2 shares though, but like the price is going down. In his credit, I will say I see highlights of him working on his catchability, which is like good and bad. You know what I mean? It's like good he's trying to improve, but oh, it's bad that he needs to improve. Davis. Oh, wait, we got to get this camera better here.
You got to add me to the stage, bro. What's up, man?
You're in the stage. Davis, so here's what we're doing here. You're joining for picks 14, 15, 16, 18. So I can't give you a full 50-50 split if we ship this bad boy.
We can call this one. You can give me 8% equity of this one, but we'll do another one. I got an hour to hang out.
Well, this is 20. You have 5 picks left, which is 28%. Okay. So times a half, 28. So you get 16. You get 14% of this team. So if we ship the 1.5.
All right, you write that in. You write that down.
That's 210K if we win for you.
I'll take it. Yeah, I love it. What do we got? What are we working with?
Oh, you're going to like this one. So we got Goff and Herbert. We're going to need to figure out another quarterback here probably. We got Achane, Pollard, and Gus. So a little bit of correlation. We got Chase, Metcalf, Rice, and Worthy. McConkey, Hopkins bought the dip on Downs as well. So we're done at 7 wideouts here. And then Laporta, like we're just buying the injury news here on a lot of guys where it's like Laporta's dipping for very little reason. Downs is dipping for a reason. Hopkins is dipping for a reason. I have him ranked closer to this versus ADP. And then Rice is a guy I wrote up in an article today about. I just don't have enough exposure to him at the cheap prices. And so it's fine to like mix him in, but I'm like, it's just kind of against my nature to take these guys who get significantly more expensive. So definitely need some more running backs, one more quarterback, probably going 2 tight end here. So probably something like a 3-6-7-2 is what I'm thinking.
3-6-7-2. Sure. Yeah. With Downs, I got to be honest. I kind of hate buying the dip on Downs.
You're just not going to draft him because of the high ankle sprain?
Yeah. It's like, I think AD Mitchell's better than him anyway. I think I like Ray Davis fine. I think
we got to just do Ray.
We got a bunch of 2 quarterback teams behind us. So we can take our 3rd quarterback with the next pick.
We can take our 3rd quarterback with our last pick even. Like we can just like.
But maybe we make sure that we get a good one with the next pick.
Well, Bo Nix is fine.
Do we have?
Going Geno with Metcalf. Going Geno seems good too.
Could go Geno. The chat already knows the guy I want to pick. The chat they've already keyed in. They know.
Who do you want? Justin Fields?
Justin Fields, baby.
I'm fine with Fields. The question to ask ourselves is he playing week 5? Because that's at minimum we want buy coverage for that.
Buddy, he's playing weeks 1
through
17.
Week 1, week 2, week 3. Get the Howard Dean.
I think that's what's happening, man. I think the vibes now are just. It's like you know me, dude. I am kind of a vibes based drafter. So like the vibes are all tilted toward because they went from you're guaranteed the starting job to Russell Wilson is in pole position to Fields is in pole position to be in pole position to now Fields has taken every rep with the first team because Russ is still banged up and Fields is going to start the preseason game.
And also like Russ is just not likable.
He's literally just not likable, dude.
So like the locker room almost certainly is going to want to gravitate towards Fields. I'm standing right now.
I was going to say, are you doing the stand desk?
Yeah, my back is like messed up, so that's why we're doing the standing desk. I have ADHD, so I'm fluid.
What did you do to your back? I know you said it was hurting yesterday.
I don't really know. I have a history of back spasms from when I played rugby. So okay, we gotta decide here. Are we going Geno or ripping Fields?
We don't have a Steeler, but we do have a Chief. I actually am trying to buy more Geno too, so I will let you decide. But I would probably take Fields, but I will let you decide.
I'm trying to get a little bit more Geno too, because I like that Week 17 matchup as well.
You want to talk about the vibes? The vibes in Seattle right now are also extremely positive. I like Grubb loves coaching Geno. They're talking about like playing faster. Kenneth Walker vibes are good. The vibes are strong.
Yeah, I moved Walker up my ranks. I like Fields, and if we didn't have Metcalf, I would have taken him. But I feel like with Metcalf, like you might as well just correlate that bet right there. And
what team do you think is having the lowest vibes at training camp? Like if we had to do a bottom 5 vibes.
Bottom 5 vibes. Okay, let me think.
Patriots got to be.
Patriots is like not positive vibes. Saints vibes are like
Saints vibes bad. Are bad. Yeah.
Saints vibes are actively bad. I don't know how like the Giants vibes are like. Malik Neighbors is awesome, but then it's
Neighbors is saving them. Yeah.
But then it's also like we're so bad that we're like, like there's kind of some acceptance there. I watched Hard Knocks last night. Nothing burger. No need to watch episode 1. Did not learn a single thing.
I don't really watch Hard Knocks, to be honest. Raiders vibes. That's actually worse than the Patriots. The Raiders vibes is even worse.
I would say the Jaguars vibes are kind of questionable. Where it's like,
Yeah.
The vibes are like the defense wins again.
Yeah.
Like every single practice.
Well,
And like
there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that with the Patriots too, where it's like the defense is outstanding.
I
Like,
mean,
is
we
it?
haven't seen a Brian Thomas Jr. highlight for like months, you know?
I don't
Um,
I don't even have confirmation he's on the team, dude.
dude, so the dark horse in the Raiders competition is like apparently they have like a third quarterback who's like real athletic. Who's some people want to win. Let me look this guy up.
I gotta try and do I
You
know
watch college ball,
Anthony?
so you might actually know this guy.
This is the old or Ravens quarterback.
Anthony
Anthony
Brown
Brown?
Jr.
Yes.
Yeah,
He started several games for the Ravens. I don't remember where he went to college. Purdue. Yeah, I barely well, wait, no. Anthony Brown
spoke this
Jr.
Raz.
He played for Boston College in Oregon. He started 2 games in 2022.
I would say the Cowboys vibes are bad too. Just
Yeah.
because like
This is a different Anthony Brown.
it's like okay, they haven't paid CeeDee Lamb. The one I just pulled up or the one you're talking about?
The one you just pulled up is a different Anthony Brown.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There is
no, but I
there
would
is
say the
a
vibes in the Cowboys camp have not.
they're bad. They're bad. The Cowboys vibes are bad.
Yeah, the are we like lagged a little bit? Like you seem like
Something
lagged 1% from me. Maybe it's my
let
end.
me refresh. Running back here or tight end.
Running back. Yeah, the San Fran vibes have not been great, but like they're gonna be good. I know who Davis wants here, so we're going Braylon Allen.
I'll never complain about Braylon Allen.
Yeah, seems like a great pick. I think Tolbert's also a great pick.
Holbert is a pretty good pick too.
Like all the vibes are like negative on. They're positive on Rico, positive on Tolbert, positive on Dak, and negative on Zeke. It's like here's Zeke running through the ball drill and getting hit in the nuts and looking slow. And
that
like,
was one of the most damning pieces of video evidence I've ever seen.
well, because it looked like he was just like really like out of breath, but he actually got
hit in the nuts.
Yeah. So I don't like this is a defensible team to stop at 5 if you wanted to go 3 tight end, but I think we just tack on a 6th in general, higher scoring position. What's your read on the Fant injury? I've not been able to see anything.
I just was doing a Twitter search right before I got on. He is on a local radio station right now instead of being at practice. So I think he maybe just got a rest day. I think he's fine.
Yeah, from what I could tell is we're going to learn more later. Hopefully not serious.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how I have the tight ends ranked.
I'd probably do Juwan. We have we don't have a Raider. I'd probably do Juwan.
I think Dulcich is getting
I
some
do.
buzz.
I like Dulcich too.
And he correlates with Chase. Sanat remains an upside swing. We're just not getting the like buzz on him exactly. And the bet is not too dissimilar to Laporta, except for like the team won't be as good. Where the whole thesis of Sanat is that he's simply the second target for Washington, right?
Well, I can tell you one thing: he's not going to be the second target in week 1, week 2, or week 3, or week 4. If you're playing the
Zach
if you're playing the what is it, the September only best ball on DraftKings, Zach Ertz, very good pick in September only best ball.
Yeah, I mean he's getting like buzz from athletic writers where they're like #1 target in the red zone, and I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care at all.
It's time to learn 25% Zach Ertz in the big board, buddy.
So here is the squad: Goff, Herbert, Smith, Achan, Pollard, Edwards, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Chase, Metcalf, Rice Worthy, Nick Conkey, Hopkins, Downs, Laporta, Dulcich, and we didn't get Khalil Herbert, who would have been nice for the Seahawks stack. Looked like he went way expensive in this draft. Roshan got banged up at practice, but seems like a nothing burger there.
Yeah, I'm not sweating that. I mean,
Yeah,
I like Dameon Pierce better though.
Roshan plays better with the Geno Metcalf stack. But if you have a significant tier break, I'm fine with Pierce.
No, I don't.
I
Can't care that much. I'm just trying to. That's where something like I was not drafting any Dameon Pierce early, and reacting to new information.
100% the same. I zeroed Pierce out pretty much because Pierce lost work to Darian Ngubelale last year. Like legitimately lost work to him diving
Yes.
into the game logs. And I'm like, bro, if you're losing work to a 29-year-old journeyman, like hard to go back up. But maybe he just like really attacked the offseason.
That's what they said, man.
Well, and he got rested. He got
He
rested.
got rested, and Jawar Jordan was averaging like 1.2 yards per carry in the third quarter of that game.
But he got like
called
one.
for
I think Jordan got one carry before the game got rained out. Like he didn't get a.
But they subbed him in the third quarter of the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, which I don't know how to read into that with like eight. Like, do you read that as Akers is ahead of him?
I read it as they just don't know who their third running back is right now.
I kind of read it as they kind of know what Jordan is and isn't, and they were just kind of curious what Akers has left, and so might as well go see it. But I don't know, something to monitor. Ray McLeod, I moved up in ranks. Unfortunately, your guy carted off the field today, Rondale Moore. So seems serious for him. I don't know.
Oh, it's over, dude. I removed Rondale from my ranks.
I deleted him. He was literally the last ranked player I had, and I just clicked the delete button.
Liam, that's so funny. He was also literally the last ranked player I had.
Yeah, the difference is he's been my last ranked player for 2 months.
That is the difference. It's recent. It's recent that Rondale moved that far down for me.
It's like MVS and then him. Oh no, moved my okay. So Roshan or Deneric Prince, I like both for this team. Prince not been drafted all year, plays well with the Rice and Worthy picks.
Prince is the better pick. I think I am now woke to CH might not make the team.
Yeah, I said that yesterday to you with the I don't think it's necessarily him not making it as far as like it is him maybe just taking some time away from football for mental health reasons, That's just totally reading the tea leaves. Obviously, neither of us know. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, okay, he's never been good. And then he had that gallbladder thing. So we're like, oh, maybe it was just like some unknown. Like, remember, like when he popped up and looked like 170 pounds after, he lost like 40 pounds of weight.
Yeah.
And now Prince is like getting every single chance he can to run ahead of him. What if Prince is like at least McKinnon, just clearly the more high upside guy Prince is with a really athletic RAS profile, raw athletic score. So
yeah, the issue is that he is like quite a bad player. Like, I think he had less than 1,400 yards total in college at Tulsa. Like,
wasn't that also the skinny on Pacheco though? Didn't Pacheco play for like this terrible?
He played at Rutgers, but Rutgers was like maybe the worst team in college football when he was on the team, and like he like led them in yards. Like he was on a team with Bo Melton, which is kind of funny. But he had like 900 receiving or 900 combo yards on a team that gained like 2,000 yards total.
Okay, and so Pacheco goes down. What's your vibe? Because
Pacheco goes down, and you had to have Prince or Carson Steele or
Well,
Clyde.
that's what I was gonna say. Is it seems very conceivable.
If Pacheco goes down, you had to have Patrick Mahomes. If Pacheco goes down, Mahomes could throw for like 60 touchdowns.
I don't know. I think we could see like a little Lewis Reese Zamit, a little bit of Carson Steele, a little bit of Prince. Like it could be really,
Man,
really
I hope
ugly.
so. I have to admit, I have been drafting Reese Zamit on
DK.
DraftKings. Yeah.
I don't think it's a good pick because
Liam, it's a terrible pick. It's a terrible pick. He's not even going to be active.
I've like hovered the button in round 20 and I'm like, no. But
it's just, this is the way I think of it, is like, how fucking pissed would I be if the cool rugby player had a role on offense with the Chiefs and I didn't have at least like 5% of him?
I agree. I will have one team. I didn't draft in my Rottweilers, so we're doing those together.
Sick. I've already, I'm done with those already.
No, I definitely will have at least a team of him. But like, why I think Reese Zamit is not great is like, from what I can tell, he's playing with the third stringers, and I don't know, his like pass protection seems to be like not great, not bad. The kickoff, like, I don't know, just a purely kickoff role is not enough, obviously, but it's the Chiefs, man. Could he just like be their Damian Williams one year or whoever? Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? What did CEH do to Liam? What did CEH do for everyone?
For anybody?
What did CEH do? Did you see the Leone and me CEH interaction where Leone was like, "How dare you not draft CEH all off season?" You know, like where I was like, I kind of want to get more news, and he's like, "That's the exact wrong way to do it." What did CEH do to deserve that? You know, come on now.
What did he do? It's hard to say. I mean,
this could be true.
I hope not, man. I hope not. I honestly, the funniest, Remigio is ahead of Justin Ross. Rough buff fire.
We drafted a Remigio team on here. People did not like it.
He's not going to play on offense. That's why Remigio is, based on my understanding, a very good special teamer, whereas Justin Ross is not.
Remigio was the next in the day that Justin Watson got hurt. So that's why I was like, you know what? Fine. And we missed, like, we did the Mahomes thing where we whiff on the big three wideouts, and we're like, okay. So we ended it with Prince and Remigio.
You have to take Prince, Tony, and Wiley on those teams.
Let's see. I think I did it in.
Look, no one.
Yeah, I did it in the Corey here. We did Remigio and Prince.
No one will admit this. I'm the only person brave enough to admit it, but Tony is the correct answer in that scenario where you strike out on the 3 Chiefs wide receivers in the 5th.
Okay, but Tony only has wideout eligibility, so like, just seems undraftable.
You have to take Prince and Tony. You got to take them both.
Tony. I don't know. He could be. He's getting
like he's like 0.3% to be, but you've already made the mistake. Like you're trying to bail yourself out of the mistake.
How down bad is Sky Moore that we're not even discussing him?
It's not Sky Moore, because Sky Moore can't. There's nothing Sky Moore could do to get on the field for them at this point.
Sky Moore having like a year 7 breakout would do wonders, though, to this community.
A year 7 breakout? My God.
If he just has like a Cordell Patterson resurgence type season.
I never want to say never. But man, seems unlikely, right?
The first article that comes up for Chiefs depth chart is Kadarius Toney is buried on the Chiefs depth chart.
He's Khalif Raymond.
I think McCole Hardman's a better pick. I think Hardman's a better pick than Toney.
Yeah,
because Hardman can at least replace Worthy or Hollywood. Like if Worthy or Hollywood goes down and they want another guy to run clear out routes and get targeted occasionally, Hardman can do that.
Sure. Why not?
Tony is more of the like, all the running backs are hurt, so he is Jerick McKinnon, which also has value. Like that's like the CPAT season where he was a wide receiver but played running back and like was barely drafted. Like that's value.
It was a very good season for fantasy.
Yeah.
I guess the issue with everyone.
This is not a slow draft, is it? Please. We're hitting the auto draft button immediately if this is we need one more for the Rottweiler.
The issue is I just realized it's because everyone, that means slow draft, right?
Does it? All right. We're not winning the Rottweiler this year.
Yeah, Liam, that clock means slow draft.
That's you're right. You know what? I barely have any bullets left, but we got to do it. I'm trying to save some of these for like when we actually have depth chart news, but whatever. All right, guys.
Start a team.
7 more for BBM 5. You see James Cook had a huge play today at camp, ended up fumbling it. Yeah, like here were the James Cook highlights today. It was like James Cook killing in the pass game, fumble. James Cook catching 20-yard pass, fumble. And that's the story with James Cook, right? James Cook is a high upside, low floor guy where James Cook could lose his job to Ray Davis, right? Like that could happen. That is a
He's got a little CMC in him though.
Cook?
I'm teasing.
I literally said this to you yesterday. Hey, who was Joe Brady's running back?
I guess it was CMC for a little while. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
CMC. It was CMC,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire too.
No, but on the real, they do run this one route where he's like, oh yeah, this is what we ran for CMC. And James Cook runs that at the goal line too.
I've started to relatively pack my bags on James Cook, so I'm in on it. I hate picking at 6. I think St. Brown is like a bad 0.5 PPR.
I think we're gonna get Jefferson because he's here a lot, but I don't have his like. I have my Jefferson teams from like the 9, 10, and 11, and the years that you need him to win. Him and Breece Hall are the 2 first rounders I don't have.
Have fun staying poor, buddy.
Heavy exposure to. Wow. We'll see, friend.
I just got off a podcast, so I'm having to make all my slow draft picks right now.
That's acceptable. You got the full 50% of this one though, so
I'm locked in. I got one last.
No, and here's the thing I want to say about Buffalo too is like it feels like every week I move the wide receivers up and down. Where Keon Coleman, I'm not moving just because like nothing has changed on his thesis.
Oh, like, this is a weird one. Look at this.
Curtis Samuel was getting so much buzz. Yeah, we might get Tyreek.
We're not going to. This guy.
Curtis Samuel was getting so much buzz, and then like recently it's been all Khalil Shakir. It's like Khalil Shakir is the best. You want to go Bijan? AJ Brown?
I don't care. I have like 2% Amon-Ra St. Brown because I always take Jefferson over him.
I like Sun God.
Yeah.
It would be a little synergy where we did Jamar Chase yesterday.
That's true. Okay, we gotta take him.
Yeah. Amon-Ra was the other guy that powered me to a win. And so now we're doing the Amon-Ra team. Why are you lower on Breece? I'm not low on Breece from a season-long output, right? Like, could Breece be RB1? Of course Breece could be RB1. However, you got to nitpick when you are playing contests like Best Ball Mania. And although I won't have 0% Breece, I would prefer to play. Like, I don't think it's a good matchup for the Jets running game week 17 that they're playing Buffalo. I also wouldn't think it's a good matchup if the Jets were playing the Chiefs, right? Like, in general, I don't want super expensive running backs playing other elite quarterbacks when we're making tie breaks, where Bijan literally gets to play the 32nd defense from last year, right? And will the Commanders be as bad on defense? Probably not. But then again, they're going to be pace up. So maybe, right? Like they're not going to be a good defense. That's for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, that's just enough of a tie break for me right there.
Sure. I mean, I think, yeah, people are too woke to Debo now. This sucks.
I had Debo ranked.
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
Here.
I went from having 22% Debo to I'm gonna end up with like 14% now.
I ranked Debo and Aiyuk ahead of Drake London and co. Where
Well,
I'm just
I had Aiyuk as a third rounder this whole time, and now everyone else is gonna finally
that
agree
was
with me.
bad. That was you're running pure on that, man. You're running,
Buddy.
very
I'm running.
pure.
This is my Liam year. Don't you know, bro? I'm running pure on everything.
I'm running really pure on a lot of news.
Nico,
Nico
all
is just
day.
a pure pick
Yes,
here.
easy.
Although JT was on the winning BBM2 team, and I have almost none.
That's by design, bro.
Okay, good enough for me. Yeah, I mean, I have to really force clicking a guy like JT over Nico there. Not that like it's that logical that Nico's a full round more expensive than Diggs and Tank, but like who cares? I just want my exposure to him, you know?
Sure.
Do you care to address this?
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna get, if 99% of things go your way, if I gotta sacrifice one short king, it is what it is, you know. And really, the Ray McLeod stuff probably saved me because it would have been more.
So, someone tried to warn you on this very channel, but
someone did try and warn me.
Doom said, "You don't think Brees could get 10 targets in a shootout with Bills?" Look, Doom, Brees could get 30 targets. You have to think with the probability mindset. To me, Brees versus some of the other first round picks is a bad probability bet to be the guy week 17. If you disagree, okay, right? But that's just how I see it. That's how I want to play it, you know? Just as like Derrick Henry is a bad probability bet, period, to me, where I have him ranked in the 4th round. So I'm just gonna live and die by the fade. I'm gonna be wrong some years. That's okay.
And that's what you got to be doing. I mean, you gotta take a side. Like, I think exploitatively drafting best ball teams is much better than trying to middle the whole process.
I've said that since the BBM2 days, that you cannot like diversify yourself to $1 million. And like there's a fine line there, right? Like you don't need to hit them with the gritty exposure it where you're building literally the same team every single time. Hard to pass on Kyron here.
I think that is the correct move.
It's just like if you
that's why you don't take Bijan. That's why we don't take Bijan there, because Kyron is always the guy you want to click when you get to the 3rd round.
I would take Metcalf and more, but that is like the end of the tier break there.
Yeah, I've got more ranked over Kyron, but I flip flop that.
Yeah, I mean it's very close. I mean I have Kyron ranked. Like, if you ask me if I was doing one draft this year, would I rather have Saquon or Kyron? I'd rather have Kyron. I have Saquon ranked 1 spot ahead because of ADP. But, yeah, I mean, Kyron, there's going to be downside seasons. But if you told me he won at the 1-2 turn this whole year.
He does have legendary downside. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, that's not hard to imagine for him. Or, like, it's not that hard to imagine for Achane either, where it's just like, Mostert gets way too much work, and he is a bigger hit. It's hard for me to see Achane busting outright without an injury, but also Jalen Wright might play more. This would be awesome, man. Hit him with a gritty, just gets 1 through 150 in BBM finals.
Amazing. Yeah, please let him dupe himself.
Just first through 150, and yeah, that would be great.
I mean, I can't think of anything dumber really than the double elite quarterback is like your core strategy. It's just like, of all the possible things, they can't even, if they're both the nuts, they can't hit your lineup. At least if you take Kelsey and Andrews, they can both hit your lineup.
I would say triple elite is comfortably worse, and unfortunately, he's ripping that at a clip. Oh, you jest.
Okay, good call.
Um,
Uh,
all right. I'd like to get an ETN team here.
yeah, this doesn't actually seem like that much of an avalanche room, so I think that's a good call. I think we want to find a fourth wide receiver that we like.
Yeah, something I touched on in the article that I wrote today about like falling and rising ADPs in context with Chase Brown is I have a lot of cheap Chase Brown, but a lot of those teams are zero running back teams. And so if I'm going to be taking him at a more expensive price, I like it to be like a Kyron, ETN, James Cook, and then Chase Brown RB4 and done team, where I'm just building a totally different structure of a team.
That's obviously a smart way to go about it. I just don't. Oh, dude, we should have taken Kelsey. Oh, never mind. Mahomes already went, so there's no dream. Because I am drafting so many teams, it's hard for me to think through things like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have like 900 teams when this is all said and done, so it's just hard for me to
Well, you
think
don't
that
need
way.
to like think through every spot like that, but like another example I gave today is this. This is a team I drafted earlier today, where I went Lamar, Flowers, who I actually have ranked here based on how the room went, but is a reach by ADP, and then Kincaid. And what I said was Lamar plus Flowers plus a different elite tight end by cost is an example of a sharp game theory build. Lamar is paired with Andrews far more often than with Flowers. So you hope Flowers smashes or scores more week 17, and that Andrews fails or is outscored by, in this case, Kincaid, right? And these are like there are infinite spots in the draft where you can think through this. The like some obvious ones are like when you have Brees Hall.
Taking Likely with Kelsey, taking Tyler Algier with Brees. Yeah, I love those things.
That was a very obvious one right there. All right, Davis,
Probably,
how you feeling there?
probably for this team, since we're fine at we have 4 quarterback stacks live, we can do Rice. If we had already taken like an Eagles guy or a Bills guy, like if we had Kincaid or something, I would say we should do McLaurin. But because our quarterbacks are live, let's do Rice.
Okay. I've been wanting to get more Rice, and I think this is a good way to do it. Where like I'm not going to take Rice in something like the marathon. I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah. I'd probably still take him in the marathon, but I'm built different.
Well, I mean, if you do, I would just be purposeful with it, right? Where it's like, I'll be damn sure to be taking guys like Denier Prince that were not drafted.
That were not drafted. Yoshi Voss.
Yeah, Yoshi Voss, whatever.
I think that makes sense.
McLaurin opens up a quarterback. He does.
No, that's what I was saying. I'm saying we don't need it. We have Lawrence, Stafford, Stroud, and Goff all live.
Terry is drawing very live to be that like boring pick, but he's just like the Amari Cooper of the year, where he
what he does every year,
like 1,200 yards. Yeah.
There's a new negative Kyle Pitts article out there.
I saw it was like basically that he's like not quite in shape, but what is the article you're reading?
There's a new one about just like Cousins really getting into him and just being like, you're not playing good enough. You're running this route wrong. You're doing this wrong type thing.
I think those okay, that's not good that he's doing it wrong, but I think it's generally good that like
the quarterback is taking an interest.
Yeah, and trying to push him towards greatness, One thing I thought was interesting from the Hard Knocks is Nick Saban was the coach of the Bears coach, Eberflus, and they were having a conversation about like the quarterbacks, and he was like, Eberflus to Saban was like, do you do anything special for the quarterbacks? And Saban was like, well, one thing I make sure to do is I want like I always ask them like, how do you see it, right? Because you want to be like agreeing with them, like, And the second thing he does is he's like, I never call them out in front of the team. Like you don't want to like try to like embarrass the quarterback in front of the team. And I don't know. I thought that was an interesting insight there about the only thing I learned.
That is kind of interesting.
This is how I have it ranked. Watson left with a knee injury.
Any
I think White is the third, and we stop at 4 is like you got to mix that in.
I think it's terrible. I think it's awful. But I would take Rome. Gives us another quarterback.
Rome does. We got infinite Rome on my exposure sheet, so there is just no reason why Rachaad White should fall to the 6th. And
he's a bad running back on a bad team.
Okay, they're not a bad team; they're a middling team.
What if I told you they're going to be a bad team now?
How many points do you think the Bucs score against the Panthers week 17?
How many 17.8 points.
I don't know, man. The Bucs kind of like ended on a high note last year.
They lost Canales, man.
I think their OC ad is pretty bullish, where they got Liam
Cohen. Yeah,
like that, and I think that's bullish for White. Where like, look how the Rams use Kyron. What if he's just like, hey, Rachaad White's our Kyron?
Damn, maybe you sold me.
And what is the functional difference?
And I'm a big Baker boy.
Other than that, well, yeah, I think like you can like excuse Baker's injuries. We did not get Stroud. This guy got a pairing with Derrick Henry. Sharp.
Yeah, super sharp.
But I mean, I don't know, 32 points against the Eagles last year, right? Like they put up some scores to end the year. And the difference between Rachaad White and Kyron is Rachaad White is an athletic freak.
Is he? What's his RAS?
9.5.
He definitely does not run like it, if that makes sense.
His O-line, 9.9.
All right.
I think their O-line was that bad, and we as a fantasy community are like really bad at understanding that. Addison or Ferguson?
Addison?
Yeah, I think I've been buying all the Addison dip. He made my article too, where I personally,
I actually would have taken JSN there.
I'm
recontextualizing myself on JSN. I think the wrist injury combined with Seattle just kind of having a weird year and now a new offensive coordinator who I think is better than their old offensive coordinator. Like, I guess maybe that's not so good for my Bears bags, but I moved JSN up in my ranks. I moved him up ahead of Keon Coleman.
That seems bullish, but
yeah,
I mean,
I'm moved to bullish status.
I'm willing to mix JSN in. I pretty much got my exposure in the 555 drafts on DraftKings in the 90s, where I was like, okay, I got 3 or 4 teams with him at a cheap ADP. That will be my exposure this year to JSN. I'm not as concerned getting him in BBM. But like, okay, so do you see Lockett going to like near 0 this year if you're moving JSN up?
That's the thing, is I moved Lockett down, and I already have a lot of Lockett, so kind of hedge. I guess I'm kind of hedging a little bit, but yeah, because sort of what I expected would be you get to camp and the reporters are saying, "Oh, Lockett, the ageless wonder, locked in wide receiver 2. JSN's going to have to earn it," and that has not been the reports. The reporting has been JSN looks incredible. JSN's ready to take a step. Lockett is the elder statesman type reporting.
Well, I need to definitely circle back on my Seahawks reports. I find it really tough to take him over a guy like Jordan Addison, who was just like worlds better than him last year, even though Jordan Addison ran super hot. I don't think Addison like is going to be suspended all season. I don't think that's even in the range of cards, you know? So
no,
if who cares?
The only thing to be worried about would be him getting suspended weeks 15, 16, and 17, which is firmly in the range of outcomes based on all the reporting.
I really don't think it is. Most recent reporting is that he.
Do you see how bad this Rachaad White pick is, dude? Look at all these great running backs here available.
These guys can be league winners, Shakir and Dobbs. So we're going to get one of them. What do you want to do?
Either Cincinnati back seems fine.
I have almost no Ramondre.
Sure, I like Ramondre. I mean, you want to talk about a dude who is going to get 19 of the least inefficient. We're gonna have an inefficient off. We're gonna have a mid off between
Fourth and
Ramondre.
final running
Yeah,
back. This is, I mean,
we could be done. Actually, yeah. I
no, we're
think
definitely done.
let's be done. Yeah.
We're definitely done a running back, and like, okay, I kind of prefer a higher upside swing than Ramondre, but Ramondre has upside too, you know. And the Chargers could be terrible on defense.
Could be terrible on defense.
What were we talking about just before this pick?
Seahawks receivers.
Yeah, I find it hard. Oh yeah, no, Addison. So the recent skinny on Addison is, I mean, Drew Davenport, the legal expert, is saying he expects no suspension this year.
More likely to be next year.
Yeah, just like they're gonna plead no contest. He has a hearing sometime in October, and
October 7th.
And if he pleads guilty, they're thinking that he'll serve a 3-game suspension then. So it seems like weeks 15, 16, 17 are off the table as even a possibility, which makes sense from like both sides. So it's just like, are the Vikings willing to just kind of sacrifice this year and eat the suspension this year, which they might prefer to do? Or do they want Addison on the field as much as possible to help develop McCarthy?
JJ McCarthy. So I just got done doing a podcast with a guy who's like a Vikings writer who's been at camp and stuff, and he was pretty bearish on McCarthy playing a ton this year because they are reworking his throwing motion, and he thinks that if they get him in by week 7, which is after the bye week, after they get back from Europe, he won't be done reconfiguring his throwing motion by then.
Okay, but Giants, maybe they win that one, but then lost to the 49ers.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
Lost to the Texans, lost to the Packers, lost to the Jets, lost to the Lions, lost to the Rams. Bye week, it seems like get him in against the Colts and rest of the way. Like, he may look like shit. I just don't think the team will, like, the fans will accept him not playing. Okay, we're taking one of these wideouts.
It's got to be Palmer. Got to give ourselves another quarterback.
Sure.
Not a Shakir guy, not a Sutton guy.
So you're just gonna ignore the reports that Shakir, like, Curtis Samuel had like buzz that first week, but more recently it's been like Shakir is the guy in Buffalo, and that's always been in the range of outcomes.
I just have heard this before, and then Shakir ends up running 62% of the routes because he's not that good.
I mean, he was like the number 1 wideout down the stretch last year and had 600 something yards barely playing.
I just really don't think he's that good.
Yards, 2 touchdowns. I think Shakir is a pretty good pick.
I think Kincaid is the best interior receiving option, and I think Keon is just most likely better than him, like quite a bit better than him.
Yeah, but they're going to win in different ways, right? Like, I think Keon is going to win in the end zone and, like, a jump ball type guy. And Shakir is just going to get open. And he's explosive with Yak. So I think it's and Shakir gets sauced in week 17. Shakir will probably run from the slot still. Like, you'll have, like, if Matt Collins is on the field, that is bullish for everyone else receiving targets. If Matt Collins is just like running blocking wide out.
True. Yeah.
Like, that is just like he's running to clear out, So go ahead.
Yeah, if you are a bowl for Shakir, you definitely want Hollins playing. You want Hollins just like replacing Gabe Davis's snaps. That you
also
win.
The 2 tight end stuff. Like, if it's like Knox is playing an outside receiver in a 2 tight end set, and then that gets Shakir and Coleman in the slot, like, you could see lineups like this: Kincaid playing tight end and running a route from there, or Knox, and then the other one being the outside wide receiver, quote unquote, and then Keon and Shakir in the slot with like Matt Collins playing outside and Curtis Samuel playing the running back wide receiver, where he's like lines up as running back, but runs a little post route like that. There's many outs to different guys spiking in Buffalo. Is MVS dead? MVS is like the last ranked guy I have. He's gotten more positive buzz as of late. I like Goddard. I like Cooks.
We have no tight end yet.
I like Goddard, man.
I really don't.
And then I like these guys too.
I'd probably do Gabe Davis, to be honest.
Let's play the ADP. Let's take one of these two.
Sure, let's take Goddard.
You didn't give me anything, so I just starred him. Goddard is nice because, I mean, okay, season-long props, we all know it's not the end-all, be-all. But his prop is not, like, wildly different from the elite tight ends for a reason, you know, because he has out to being a smash, and if he just has a big week, that's fine, right? So, okay, Mark Andrews is 750.5, 6.5. We didn't get reception prop on him. Goddard, 625.5, 3.5 touchdowns. So within 100 yards of Andrews, you know, one touchdown.
Aren't you worried about Johnny Wilson, brother?
I recently moved him up in my ranks as like draftable, but I don't think it's like a valuable. Like he's a Hurts only guy for me.
Correct. Yeah.
Could Curtis Samuel be the number 2? Brother, anyone could be the wide receiver 1. Anyone could be the wide receiver 2. I am trying my hardest to read the tea leaves. I've moved Samuel back down a little bit in my rankings, but like, I don't know who's going to smash. I'm pretty confident one of them will be a solid hit though. And they're just kind of like cheaper Chiefs or cheaper or similar priced Packers, but cheaper mostly.
The Bills?
Yeah.
Or the Eagles?
No, the Bills. No, the Eagles are different, totally different team. The Eagles are not that ambiguous.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just like I've made my bets, and my bets are on all of them but Shakir. I take Shakir when I have Josh, and that's it.
I think you should adjust to the Shakir news where like a lot of the beat reporters are being like, Shakir is the trusted guy in Buffalo.
Nah, beats are always bad at this. You rely on the beats to like take the temperature for you.
So I would really prefer to get Jacoby and Goff.
When you have St. Brown and you don't get Goff, it's just being like, I'd rather not win 1.5 million USD.
All right, so let's just take Goff and figure it out.
Yes. Yeah,
that's fine with me. And we might get one of the. I mean, we're at least going to get Downs. You're going to be out on Downs. It sounds like, but to me,
no, I'm taking the 6'2" guy who scored 5 touchdowns in the college football playoff over Josh Downs.
I mean, my bags have been packed on Adonai. I had Adonai ranked ahead. You can get Adonai Mitchell in the like 180s on drafters.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a much worse pick on drafters. Like a much worse pick in cumulative scoring because he's gonna start the year playing behind Alec Pierce.
I think he's actually a better pick in total points where you don't need him.
You don't need 11 points. You just need a couple 27 pointers.
Yeah, you just need him to like if he has 3 25-point games, you don't care what weeks they occur. For something like this, you need them to occur the correct like either a playoff week or week 17. Or just be a regular season smash. Vibes have been mixed on Adonai. Certainly not good that he has not beat out Alec Pierce at all, from what I can tell. They're like Alec Pierce and him are splitting work with Alec Pierce running ahead of him mostly. Now, I think Alec Pierce is bad. So I think Adonai will beat him out. But I also think Jahan Dotson's bad. And like these guys who are kind of just bad, but can like run open down the field. When they have a quarterback like Daniels or Richardson with a big arm, they can just catch a ball sometimes, you know?
100%.
You know, and
yeah,
like they didn't
that's like the thesis is that AD Mitchell can kind of replicate like Josh Down or Gabe Davis style stats.
Someone's saying that Goff would have fell. I doubt that the guy here with only Brock Purdy would have passed on Goff, having Laporta. He probably just, and Gibbs. I think he just doubles up the quarterbacks in that game. So I disagree. And like, yeah, I would have preferred Myers with Goff because it seems like Myers being a little slept on. Like I want to get more exposure to him than I have. But yeah, just like if we don't get Goff, it's not feeling.
Why
great.
do you want to get more exposure to the third target on the Raiders?
Because I read a recent post and it was like Jacoby Myers is looking like the a true wide receiver one. What Devontae Adams has not been practicing, but
do you have David Kitchen brain?
And also, what if Devontae Adams is traded, man?
Yeah, he's a big riser if Adams gets traded.
And yeah, like I like Bowers too, but I don't know. Jacoby's shown an ability to earn targets. He was equal to Devontae last year, essentially. I don't think Devontae gets traded,
He makes so much money. It's just hard to figure out where it works.
I don't know. Like, and I feel like half of this Aiyuk stuff is like the NFL's like, look, we need to get the people talking because every insider is pretending to know something where no one knows anything. People apparently Aiyuk is supposed to be traded today to the Steelers, according to some Steelers people.
He's good. He's gonna get traded.
I don't think so. I think they're like all these guys are getting banged up in practice. I think Logic will win out. So Herbert's a stack, 2 week 5 buys. We can figure out a third. Leggett.
I was gonna say I like Leggett. He got a good health.
Let's see what these guys are.
His 2 quarterbacks, one quarterback.
Okay. What about his MRI?
That's the thing. That's the thing is there were just the athletic report from Panthers camp today is that his foot's good.
Okay. I've drafted a lot of Leggett. I just think it's kind of like a bad pricing that he goes after guys like Jalen Polk, who by all reports the Patriots would rather have had Leggett and Coleman.
I mean, he was like a really bad prospect. But
yeah. And the buzz I don't think has been great for him is why I kind of like, let's just see if he's there the next round. But I mean, he's an upside swing and we can Bryce Young it if we have to.
I'd rather not, but you can always do that. Now that that Roman Wilson is dead too, you can do Fields and Roman Wilson at like the very end.
I still think Roman's a good, like I was not drafting Roman before where I thought he was overpriced, but I think he's a pretty good pick now because the reports before he like got injured, which it doesn't seem that serious, is that he was like performing well. And it's like, you're going to tell me Van Jefferson's going to keep him off the field? No. Like Van Jefferson is a reason why people didn't draft Puka Nacua last year. Like, come on now. The team so far, Goff, Kyron, Etienne, White, Ramondre, Amon-Ra, Nico, Rice, Addison, Palmer, Leggett, and Goddard at tight end. Pretty balanced build where we're done at 4 RBs. Cheaper, robust RB. We got Goff. We're going 3 QB probably. Probably going 2 tight end with Goddard, and then we'll throw the rest in wide out.
We're going to take Antoine Green in the 18th round?
No, there's another guy running ahead of him.
Darius Fountain?
Yeah, I think Darius Fountain was running ahead of... I still think that like the Lions know what they have in Khalif, and so like if Amon-Ra goes down, I think
he's the sub.
I think Khalif gets in there. So like contingent upside and just upside as like a receiving wideout. And I think the Lions want a wideout who can block, which it's like, we should probably not wade through that ambiguity is my opinion.
There's just no ceiling to any of them because their targets are going to be so concentrated. Herbert comes all the way back around. I think we take him and we take a third.
We take him, and then we can take... I would have said a guy like Stafford to go with Kyron, but we missed on that. I think even just like Baker, White, and McMillan would be nice. we got Leggett for that correlation as well.
We do. Are we? Are you a Ricky Pearsall guy now, or a Juwan Jennings guy now?
I've always been a Ricky Pearsall guy. I've moved him up and down my ranks, but like I think he's an upside swing, right? First round pick, plays for the 49ers. So is he still potentially a 0? Yes. Obviously we could have taken him there for some week 17 correlation, but
definitely way less likely to be a 0 now.
Yeah, but like I don't know, man. The buzz is not like the 49ers beats are like Ricky Pearsall would not replace Aiyuk. They're like Chris Conley would, or and like if them actually wanting Kendrick Bourne and co ahead of Rick, like
People forget Kendrick Bourne was a
Kendrick Bourne's good.
San Francisco 49er.
Yeah, he was, and I wrote that up way earlier. That Bourne is just good. He's back to practice. I don't know if he's actually practicing, but
I suppose we'll find out. I think ultimately the answer is probably that it's like they play more 2 tight end stuff than they have before. It's Juwan Jennings, it's Chris Conley. Like it's going to be gross because Pearsall feels like Trey Lance at wide receiver. Like they already know they fucked up. I think
it did surprise I think Shanahan wants to trade Aiyuk to stick it to the analytics crowd, because the analytics crowd is like, he is one of the best wideouts in football, and Shanahan wants to be like, I can make anyone the best wideout in football.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he is gonna have to learn life after Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo is kind of the engine.
No,
Deebo and Kittle, for real.
Deebo benefits from Aiyuk clearing the field and taking the safety.
That's so cap. Now on this team,
take your pick.
Pearsall went.
Yeah,
Wandale.
I've been actually no, Demario's better because we have Chargers stacks.
Sure, whatever.
We've built out some week 17 correlation here, some of it by accident. Herbert, Ramondre, Palmer, and Douglas. And we also have Rachaad White with Leggett. And that is it for week 17 correlation.
Sure. I don't know how you feel about this, but as I do more and more drafts, I just I'm sweating the micro edges a little bit less, like that stuff, because I like the bringbacks for week 17, because I'm just like, fuck, dude, I'm just drafting so many teams. Like I'm more worried about like how much of this player do I have, how much of that player do I have. So my overall rosters are probably getting worse.
I'm kind of the opposite in some ways, where like earlier in the season, I was just like, when players are really mispriced, like I'm getting week 17 correlation when it made sense and breaking ties. But I've always maintained that I'm not wildly reaching for week 17 correlation, where more so now, for whatever reason, I've just found it easy to get some week 17 correlation. But what you said makes sense too, where you're more focused on like, oh, I need more of this guy, I need more of this guy. But I still think you should be trying to okay, I have more Wandale anyways than Douglas. And Douglas is just a better fit for week 17 correlation, which is a micro edge,
Wow, there's a name I have not thought of since the Trey Lance era. Yes, the Danny Gray dream is dead.
He got hurt in practice the other day.
Yeah, Ronnie Bell is more live than Danny Gray right now.
Justice Hill in round 15 is absurd.
He's the starter, dude. Haven't you heard?
That quote, man. That quote is going to cost a lot of people. I think likely makes sense with us having Nico.
I like likely. I mean, it's so funny. I really only ever do the likely thing with Kelsey or Kincaid or McBride or whatever, because that's like my brain worm. But yeah, I mean, he's a good pick all the time.
I understand what you're saying. What Davis is saying, for anyone who's confused, is he's saying when he has an elite that's not Andrews, he makes it a point to get likely just for leverage. I just think he's a high upside swing, period, and he's going to play this year. So, like, I have a lot of rooms where it's like Conklin, Likely, and Otten, where it's like I have two boring guys who also qualify for upside, but then Likely is my truly high upside swing. How high is Dobbins going these days?
Too
Pretty
high.
effing high. I mean, how much exposure do you have to Chubb and Dobbins? Because I'm like close to
Like,
0%.
yeah, I'm like really low on both of them. A little bit more
I was
Chubb
hoping
because
Fields would wrap around.
it's so obvious to me how Chubb owns the libs, which is like he gets back. I mean, it's so obvious. Like the path for Dobbins owning me much lower, much lower. Doesn't it feel that way?
I don't. Strangely, I like almost feel the opposite, where I don't have Dobbins, but I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't sweating it a little bit. And then
How live is Dobbins going to be?
it's
In
just
week
been like
17, bro?
so overwhelmingly bullish for him, like all this like news. I
Was
don't believe it.
also overwhelmingly bullish last year.
Yeah, okay, and maybe he got a freak injury, right? Like,
well, how many freak injuries? He's got a broken leg. He's got a torn ACL. He's got the Achilles. Like, he's got no calf muscle left, dude.
the thing with Chubb though is he's not going to catch passes, like period. And I am like very confident Jerome Ford does not go to zero work, even if Chubb is back. So it's like in a timeshare with another guy who's explosive. And like Ford was like really good, and then he had a high ankle sprain and he played through it. And I think a lot of people are dinging him for that.
This room is trying to cuck us at quarterback. I don't know.
I
If you've
know,
caught on
dude.
to
They're
this.
really trying to crush us at QB. I was like, oh, well, hopefully we'll get Fields next.
We got to take. I mean, we're dead anyway. We got to take May.
Well, McCarthy goes with Addison.
McCarthy's not going to be playing in week 5. 0%.
You think May is more likely to play?
May. I mean, Russell Wilson is probably the most likely one to play, but we got to do May.
We're taking one of these two. Who's more likely to play between these two?
May. May is more likely.
I don't think the market would agree with you, but I'm fine with it.
The market doesn't know anything.
I think the market thinks that Brissett will play longer than Darnold.
We should have taken Taysom. That's what we should have taken. Taysom will be playing in week 5.
Taysom is draftable on the FFPC, where he could get his position changed, but he is not draftable. It's not even a joke. I mean, like
no.
If the Saints list Taysom as a tight end, they are going to change his position, which would be really, really funny.
Yeah, it would be. It would just be them. It would just be them sticking to their principles. Yeah, Debo is going to be a first round pick when this is all said and done.
No, Debo cannot get higher than Puka.
He can get higher than Gibbs.
He can get higher than Gibbs, but I don't think he can get higher than Marvin, although he did.
DK, C-Money, DK is not going to move your... DK is not going to change your position.
No, yeah,
that's
only the FFPC will change your positional designation after contests have started. Every other site logically approaches it that you should not do that because it wavers customer confidence. But that's not how they handle that.
Correct. Man. All right, week 5, Drake May. We're sweating it.
4 QB, baby. Let's rip it.
I guess what do we want another wide receiver?
I think we just go 2 wideouts. Chark is clearly going to be the choice with us having Herbert here.
Man, I really hate DJ Shark. That feels like such a white flag play.
That feels like he had 505 with Bryce Young. That would be closer to like 808 if he plays a full season with Herbert.
Sure. Doesn't it just feel bad clicking him though? Like he stinks.
It felt bad to begin the year, but the more and more Quentin Johnston has just like played, it feels good. And like, okay, Brendan Rice is a concern. I
Brendan
would say.
Rice, 2% owned in Best Ball Mania 5, 1% of that being my teams.
Are you really taking him like often in the 18th?
With Shark or with Herbert, yeah. I take him over Shark.
I think that's comfortably bad because I just don't know like I just don't know what reporting news you are acting on other than just like pure vibes that you should be doing that.
The reporting news is that he is mixing in with the first team, and Quentin Johnson is fucking Garbo. Like
Yeah, Brendan Rice is mixing in with the first team. Who is the first team? Chark. It's like the first team is Palmer, Chark, and McConkey is hurt and has an injury history.
Brendan Rice is not hurt, bro.
Yeah, Brendan Rice is drawing live to be playing alongside Chark.
The rotational wide receiver 5 for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I would accept that Brendan Rice has more upside. Like Brendan Rice conceptually could be,
he's definitely, I'll tell you this, he's definitely better in concept than he is in reality.
This is a terrible pick, Amari DeMarcado.
Amari DeMarcado, bad pick.
Like that's really galbraining the shit. In a bad way. No, I mean Brendan Rice could be like 65% of what Puka Nacua was, in the sense where he's just like late round draft pick who's
that's my take.
Yeah. But he is very likely to be worse than Jalen Hyde.
To be Jordan Whittington.
Unless we get actual active reporting that is, or like he blows up in a preseason game a la Tank Dell, then like sure.
He might blow up in a preseason game. That actually would be very on brand.
He might. I think Roman Wilson is a clear pick here.
I think Javon Baker is the clear pick when you've got May.
Roman correlates with Rice. A little bring back there.
I mean, you want to talk about a guy getting camp hype. Javon Baker's like the whatever. I don't care.
We're getting Roman here. I have almost no Roman. He's an 18th round pick now after living at like the 150s. Maybe he's included in an Aiyuk trade. I get the Baker trade.
I don't know if you can, like in the NBA, you can't trade rookies sometimes. So I don't know how that works for the NFL. Like I literally don't know if you can just trade a rookie.
Roman was also a good we were excited about him as a prospect until he landed with.
I kind of wanted the Chiefs to take him.
Yeah, like the way people talked about him, Roman Wilson went with the 20th overall selection in the third round, 4 picks after Jermaine Burton, 8 picks ahead of Jalen McMillan, 16 picks ahead of Luke McCaffrey. Javon Baker went in the 4th round. Obviously, that doesn't matter if Baker is like a really good NFL player, but I don't know, man.
It still kind of matters.
Yeah, I mean, I personally am breaking a lot of ties towards how actual NFL teams valued players. Like, I gave the example yesterday about on your stream about Malachi Corley, where like it's not logical to me at all that Malachi Corley went within like 8 picks of Adonai Mitchell in the real NFL draft. But Adonai Mitchell was going in the 120s and Corley was going in like the 190s. Like that's just like people threw stuff at the wall and that's what ADP landed on.
And then people get anchored to the ADP, so then they don't change it that much.
Yeah, 100%, right? But the upside for Malachi is simply Mike Williams is not a thing, So I like this team. It is Goff, Herbert, May.
We are thin at quarterback, but that's fine.
I don't think we're thin at quarterback. We're just probably not getting any points week 5.
Sure.
Kyron, Etienne, White, and Stevenson. This is I don't think that many teams are being built smartly like this year, where a lot of sharp people are building a lot of teams like, all the running backs they get are like in the Ramondre, Swift, Chase Brown range. And I don't think a lot of people are building like with Kyron and ETN and White type expensive anchors.
They're not. What they're not doing is they're not doing the. If they're doing a fragile running back team, they're doing it with Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron, and then a 11th round guy instead of like the mid round guys.
Yeah, I don't think enough teams are being built with like ETN, White, James Cook, Pacheco, Josh Jacobs, hyper fragile teams. Hyper fragile means 4 running backs and you're done. Amon-Ra, Nico, Rice, Addison, Palmer, Leggett, Douglas, Chark, Roman. So I would say we have 4 wideouts who are like unquestionably good. Palmer is probably serviceable enough. And then we have 4 darts, 2 of them rookies. Douglas is possibly his team's leading wideout. Chark.
That's what the beats have been saying.
That's why, for sure. That's why I thought that was a tier break in itself. And then Chark, if you get like 3 20-point games from Chark, that is a success,
You're not going to get, that would be 3 more than Chris Olave has ever had. So you're probably not going to get that.
You can get, that's what Slayton was last year. Chark can be Slayton plus,
sure.
in my opinion, with better quarterback play. Goddard and Likely, a bit of a thin room to only stop at 2, but I kind of like it also. Like there will be a lot of Likely with Kelsey, like Davis is doing. I don't think as many people would do it with Goddard.
People are not woke enough for that.
We got this guy. Hey, Mr. Says, thanks for the stream, boys. Pleasure drafting with you. Appreciate you, Mr.
Salute you, Mr.
I'm going to do a marathon before we get out of here. You in for this, Davis?
Nope. I am going to go cook dinner and walk my dog.
This is the softest market that you're walking away from.
I accept that. The people, they don't understand our dynamic at all, Liam. They think that you and I dislike each other. They don't understand the dynamic. They've never had a colleague that they disagree with.
Davis and I are friends, like who are both funny people, I think, and also we draft differently sometimes and like to call each other idiots. Because we both think that
it's good. It's good content.
Yeah, it's good content, but like neither of us are doing it for content reasons. I think this is literally how I would engage with you. If you were in my living room, I'd be like, "No, you're a fucking bum for doing that."
A fucking bum.
and you like to tell me that often for what I'm doing too. I just think that is what we do. Davis, tell the people what you got.
Streaming tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. Soccer Dave is coming on.
I'm coming on.
Rich Rebar's coming on. Liam is coming on. There we go. It's the Davis and Liam buddy cop hour.
When Davis and I are splitting BBM5, we got to link up week 17 to watch this thing.
Man, can you imagine? That would be a beautiful sweat.
We like get together, the whole community's behind us. We finished dead last in the finals.
But we min cash, baby. Cash.
Hey, equity
that's all that matters. All right.
I
appreciate you, man. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Later.
See you tomorrow. All right, guys. I need to lower. We're going to lower this. I'm tired of standing. So we're lowering my standing desk. So this is the marathon. The marathon is. Jeez. We got the table really low right now because I tilted my camera a little bit more. So the marathon is a total points contest, meaning whoever wins is simply whoever scores the most points weeks 1 through 17. And no playoff weeks. Oh, God. We're not meaning to zoom in so much. Give me a second, guys. You get way more access than you ever probably wanted. Okay, good enough. I don't think I did anything there, but so yeah, total points weeks 1 through 17. nods. Is this in reference to people who've watched me know that this camera used to auto zoom? Wow, we got a Marvin Harrison Jr. reach here, which is like getting unique combos definitely more valuable in total points. Let's go. Let's go to Sun God again. Why not? Keep the good times rolling. How do you feel about Tank Bigsby? You know, in my heart of hearts, I feel like he could be beat out by like Kylan Robinson, where like Kylan Robinson could be like, I don't know, the Jaguars' Keaton Mitchell. However, all of the buzz has been positive on him. So, and like all of the, the talk has been positive. So I've drafted 0% of him, but I recently moved him up to where he is draftable, which that means like he's like, I don't know, probably ranked in like the 220. So he's a defensible pick. You need an ETN injury, almost certainly. Hope you guys enjoy these streams. We got almost 300 of you watching. Please help me out on the road to 5K or 6K, I should say, by clicking that subscribe and like button. Don't think Tank Bigsby will beat you? Yeah, I mean, like, hard to feel terrible about it, but I mean, Raphael, you just got to understand that the NFL is extremely chaotic. ETN could break his leg week 1. And then, in that case, could be a smash there for old Tank. Like the stream chat algorithm, help me out. I like your idea of drafting hyper fragile teams with mid-round running backs. Makes a lot of sense because you can always get 2 or 3 elite wideout. Yeah. I think you should play it like it's easy to fall in the trap of like building the same types of teams again and again and again, which like 4 or 5 wideouts, elite quarterback, elite tight end, whatever. So definitely playing with different structures seems good to me. Like another structure I'd be down with is like Pacheco, ETN, James Cook, or Rashad White. And then 4th running back is like Zach Moss or Chase Brown, where it's like, okay, I'm taking the three guys who kept, like, I want the running backs who are explosive and catch passes and can score touchdowns, And the market is really souring on 2 of them, Cook and White. And it doesn't seem fully logical to me as to why it's doing that. Think the marathon will fill? I'm really not sure, Foostism, because it's at 23% filled, which is not a lot, obviously. But the second that BBM 5 fills, which that is at 60%, it's not as big a contest. Wow, Puka Nacua is a steal here. We just got a Puka and a Monra start in the marathon. That's effing insane. Give me that dip. This is the first like real dip of Puka I've been able to see. We got to tweet that out to let the people know we're live. That's insane. Yeah, no, I think it was really bad for people to like instant react to moving Puka down their rankings. McVay's been calling everyone week to week. And I watched the video. It didn't seem that serious, right? Like people like just didn't bother to like look at the video. God, Jesus Christ, stop zooming. I'm trying to like tilt it. But when I try to tilt, I'm pressing the zoom button. Okay, there we go. Good enough. Good enough there. This is the marathon. The marathon lobbies in general are just kind of insane. Like you can get some crazy starts here. Someone said Davis crying right now that he left this. I'm still buying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying Aiyuk 100% in the second round simply because I don't need to. He's available in the third round a lot. So you guys can tell that this room is skewing running back heavy. People think in these total points that if you don't get your running backs, you're dead to win. It's clearly how these people are thinking. Not every badgeless drafter is a bad drafter, but it is noteworthy that some of the guys doing some wonky things are badgeless. Just came from your tweet. Crazy start. Look at that, guys. Marketing. Marketing. What happened to Davis? He had to go. Nothing. Come on. There's no way Dead Pirate Monty is taking Brandon Aiyuk. There's just 0%. Hell yeah. That's some fire right there. Aiyuk is especially good to pair with Puka because, in my opinion, I still don't think a trade's going to happen. Could be wrong. And division correlation, meaning they get 2 games against each other, which in general, I would break ties towards division correlation for the marathon. Just hoping to get a couple shootouts. I'm glad this is a marathon. I understand that sentiment, Paul. Davis and I got in a huge fight and we left. He left. Man, this team could be unreal. Yeah, I mean, almost certainly I'm going to end up with like a Frankenstein quarterback room and running back room. But we'll see. I think something you should be okay. So this is going to happen to anyone who drafts enough. You'll eventually get some unicorn starts like this. Now it's the marathon, so it's not as relevant, but it's still like this is a team that has a lot of EV, in my opinion. It's just unique through falling ADPs, which of course is always preferred. So you want to land the plane when you do this, right? That means like don't do some fringe stuff. So for me, I'm probably going to like break a tie towards a running back in the 4th or 5th round where when I see people taking Pacheco at the 2-3 turn, like I'm just a little worried I'm going to get locked out, right? Like same with quarterback. I'm probably going to take a quarterback a little bit earlier than necessary when I see someone go Mahomes and Josh Allen, you know? I feel like every draft these past few days could be crazy. 100%. The market is soft right now. This is a Liam get his guys draft? Absolutely, man. Amon-Ra, Puka, and Aiyuk, those are definitely some of my guys. I got CMC at 4 on DK earlier. I swear there's going to be some like CD Lamb at the 112 with his out tag. You get in the right draft. Someone asked about, is elite tight end less important on this? No. I think it can be argued it's more important. I don't have rankings imported on the marathon. I just haven't done that yet, by the way. It's kind of bizarre how the marathon ADP is just different from BBM and such. Yeah, Tank Dell. Tank Dell, like, okay, if I knew if I took Lamar, I would get or if I took Flowers, I would get Lamar. Maybe I would go Flowers or Lamar and then Flowers. But let's go Tank. Sets up another quarterback stack. It's quite possible Tank is simply the best wideout for Houston. Thanks for checking in, Cade. 63205. Tank's so risky. I don't agree. You could say that because he's small and got hurt last year, but I don't think that's good process. Rusty here, 64210. Thanks for checking in, Rusty. I don't think enough drafters value the scarcity of a position for a specific given room. 100%. I think a lot of people don't even bother to look at the draft board, and they're just kind of like ripping picks. Like this guy won Joe Burrow, you know? Tank is low risk, low reward. Definitely don't agree with that at all. I think he's like low risk, high reward potentially. A-Rod, 4'4", 440 pounds. Thanks for checking in, A-Rod. I got Aiyuk at 4.6 on DK. Look, brother, it doesn't count when it's DraftKings, okay? It just doesn't. DraftKings, it's like pretty, like this is like standard run of the mill on DraftKings. Did you say you don't think a Aiyuk trade happens? I personally do not think an Aiyuk trade happens. Obviously, that is against what some people are reporting. It doesn't make any logical sense to trade him, but people are not always logical. So, could be wrong. Let's see if we're gotten any real news. Any Schefter bombs. So Naked Stroud, bad. Richardson with Pittman, good. Burrow, pick 43, terrible. That's just what we're drafting with right now. Wow. I mean, I have Flowers ranked at the 3-4 turn, so I just cannot pass on that. Amon-Ra, Puka, Aiyuk, Tank Dell, Flowers. Legitimately, all 5 of these guys have potential to be top 10 wide receivers. Bye weeks of 5, 6, 9, and 2 14s. This is a 7 wide receiver max, and I might just stop at 6. And just understand that I have enough quality that as long as no one gets hurt, we're in the mix. Zay Flowers at pick 55 may seem really great, but in the marathon, for whatever reason, he is regularly at the 4 or 5 turn. Don't like Flowers in the 3rd, but the 5th is Love Eyes. Raphael, I understand your sentiment, and it is good to be price conscious, right? Like we don't hate the players, we hate the price. This is something I talked about with Addison, but sometimes when the price is so close, so like if you won't take Flowers in the 4th round, but you'll take him 100% of the time in the 5th round, what you're really telling yourself is maybe I should take some Flowers in the 4th round, right? And there's players like this for me too. That's just a lot of total points right there. That's what we hope, man. That's what we hope. And I think like a pick like Tank plays well when you don't take Nico Collins, you know, just hoping that Tank scores better. I just don't think Lamar Baltimore is a pass heavy team. Yeah, I mean, I don't either, but you don't need to be that pass heavy for Zay Flowers to have a 30-point game. What got you started in best ball? Always been good at fantasy football. I've always gambled, and it seemed like a good fit. And the market was terrible. It was like this stuff is terrible, but there were people drafted really bad back in the day. Are player stacks as important in the marathon? You should just read this free article. You need to sign up, but it's free. In short, yes. Click on this article though. But in short, yes, player stacks are still important. They're not as important, But you have like you're trying to hit a bunch of nutted weeks over the course of a season. Stacking gives you a greater chance of doing that. Okay, probably going to take one of these running backs if they're there. And I'd much prefer it to be Ken Walker. It's better buzz, not injured, younger, explosive, plays well with having a Ram and a 49er. Just hope this guy passes, who already has 2 running backs. Come on. Okay, good. Yeah, look, I like a lot of these wide receivers, but pretty big tier break after Ken Walker in my mind. Ken Walker's been getting a lot of buzz, where I think prevailing opinion is that Charbonnet could get some more work, and people are kind of adjusting that a little bit, where, I mean, it's still possible Charbonnet plays a lot. He seems to be the better pass catching team, but just, not wanting to risk such a unique start like this makes all the sense to get a running back there. Walker is an explosive guy, a great running back to have in best ball in particular. And again, we have pieces of the Rams, the 49ers, so a little bit of division correlation is nice. Can Walker save this team? Without him, it could have been bad. I don't agree. I could have figured it out. Are you off on Charge based on this reports? No. I moved him down like a little bit, but really nothing like positive reports about Ken Walker, which is like pure speculation, is not active news to like move a player down. It's still a projection how much they're going to play. I need to get some water, but I think we'll do that at pick 90. Thoughts on the Poodle not paying on advancements? I think it's a really, really great thing to offer, where I think most people playing that are not like playing. Okay, if you're someone who drafts like 2,000 puppy teams, maybe you're upset. But that is not what most people are doing. Most people would like to put $7 or however much a poodle draft is. Let's see how much it is. A $7 draft. Most people would like to try to turn $7 into $40,000. They're not looking to turn $7 into $10. So if you don't like that it pays out an advancement, don't play. But also, if you don't like that it doesn't pay out an advancement, what is your goal? Is your goal to have a 10% ROI playing best ball tournaments, which are really top heavy? I think you should be playing a different game mode then. You should be playing like manage or cash games. You should not be trying to win tournaments. Don't play tournaments and try to like min cash. That's just a losing mathematical strategy. So I think it's great that they offer that. Yeah, I agree with this. People who get mad about the Poodle not paying out advancements have to grow up. I just like, I think what it is like those people are worried that every contest is going to be like that. And I don't think that's the case, Yeah, I can't pass on Watson. He got hurt today, but it doesn't seem serious. Aaron Jones is like another pick. These guys offer upside too, but have more question marks. So we go Watson, 6th, and I think final wide receiver. Watson gives you 2 correlated games with Amon-Ra as well. 2 teams who play in a dome quite a bit this year. And Watson's also just like a quintessential best ball guy. Maybe you could argue I go 7 wide receiver a little bit higher percentage of the time, since Watson has a case of injury history. But I'm going to let how I draft the rest of the way to kind of decide that for me. A like and subscribe costs you absolutely nothing. Like, I think people who are upset that that underdogs offer literally 2 contests that don't pay out min cashes are worried that like Best Ball Mania is going to be that way. And I kind of doubt that Underdog would do it with Best Ball Mania. I would love though if Underdog did it with like a puppy, where it's like, okay, no one cares about getting $6.50 back on a $5 entry. We're all trying to turn $5 into 200K. Put the money in the finals. I think most people can accept if you're playing a best ball tournament and you do not make the finals, you will lose money, you know? To be fair, if I won the poodle, I'd do the same. I would not STF you. What if you won 3 best ball contests? Some people really hate that I share that fact. Okay, we're not going to be going wide receiver here. Let's see what this guy times down his whole clock. All right, we're going to grab Swift. I like him as RB2. I'm grabbing water. We're going to let it tick down. I'll be right back. All right. We got our water. We're recharged to land the plane here. I was going to say Jordan Love would be a great quarterback to go, but of course he goes around more expensive. Swift is a pretty great pick for this team. He's a Chicago Bear. So we have pieces of the Bears, the Lions, and the Packers. Honestly, like probably the best division to stack up pieces of if you're looking for shootouts. And I think it's pretty likely he'll just be the lead back. He was inactive for the Hall of Fame game. And he's explosive. Reportedly, he's down to 205 pounds, which he played at 220 in Detroit. So it seems like he's going for more an explosive build there. So quite like it. I think he's a good upside swing and relatively straight. In all seriousness, you do look like Josh Allen a bit. I get Josh Allen. I get Purdy. Someone said a baseball guy one time. Chances that Xavier Worthy is a 0, I would put that at 0%, unless he is injured. Swift, a particularly good pick when you see guys like Singletary go at pick 95 there. Generally a 2 QB guy, but with such a good wide receiver start, might go 3 QBs here. Kind of depends how it plays out. And probably 3 tight end, unless we can get like Goddard and Schultz or something. That's probably a two room right there. We're going to have a tough choice here. CeeDee Lamb's been my 101 all season, so still going CD at the 101. This room is going to give a lot of wide receiver value, but that's okay. We just kind of have to skip out on it. So, I mean, I don't love passing on Brian Robinson, Chase Brown, Tajay Spears at running back, but feel like I just have to get the upside of Jaden Daniels on this team. I mean, he could simply be the quarterback you have to win total points contests, where if he is rushing anywhere near what he did in college, he could smash. B gives me a real upside swing at quarterback, right? Where it's just like Daniels, you could see going for 40 points. Like he's basically you're hoping you get Lamar, you know? He's not Anthony Richardson, he's not Josh Allen, he's not Jalen Hurts. He's a Lamar type rusher. Smaller, bigger. Or smaller and faster. You know, he's like 205 pounds. So he's not going to be a goal line back. But legitimate upside swing. Hope to wrap one of these running backs around. I was going to say I might have grabbed Purdy there. And we'll just see what this room does. Dexter Lawrence. Let's pull that up. Brock says, Liam looks like Dexter Lawrence. I see the resemblance. I see it. I see it. This man looks wise. I see it. I see it. Linville chose them. Pretty sure Linville was on the Bills last year. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the forehead. Thanks, Paul. Could Fields and Pickens stacked break fantasy this year? No. I mean, like, I don't think Pickens can break fantasy. Pickens can have some huge games just like DJ Moore did. But no, Fields is not going to turn into a good passer of the football. He can be serviceable as a passer, and he's an explosive runner. This guy, I think, is just purely auto drafting, which these marathons take a while to fill. Nope, not auto drafting. Went Herbert with Ladd, well above ADP. All right, we got real sweat here. Oh my God, so nice. So now we get Chase Brown, which is just a big tier break. And it's like, we get him at pick 114. Hold on, let me let my cat in. Come on. Puma says he wants a 50% share of the team. But yeah, I mean, Chase Brown legitimately can be a league winner. We know that, right? And I'm getting him at price of 114, which is like, I've been ahead of Chase Brown's ADP all off season. Just pretty nice to get him on this team, which even if Brown is not quite a league winner, as long as he has some big games, can be part of the reason I'm winning. I think he looks like Davis if Davis was younger and actually won a tournament. Davis and I are, first off, mean. Don't be mean to Davis. Second off, Davis and I are the same age, I think. Not going to get me on this one, Brad. Huge Janus. This is crazy, Alex. Like, this is for sure one of my favorite teams. But at the same time, you can build some crazy things in the marathon. I'm just telling you. That's why I wanted to stream one of these. But it is nice. We have an elite quarterback swing. We have 3 shots at elite running back production. We got 6 shots at elite wide receiver production. We're almost certainly going. We might just go 3-6-6-3. With Daniels, I typically go 2, but with the quality of my running back and wideout, I just I don't want to lose because of a quarterback injury, you know? Devin, appreciate the super chat. He says, "You're the man, dog. Let's pray Aiyuk stays with San Fran." That's what I would prefer, but my cat wants out now. Give me a sec. Yeah, I would definitely prefer Aiyuk to stay in San Fran, and I don't want him to end up in Pittsburgh, which unfortunately seems like the most likely spot if he is traded. But I don't think anything's a death blow to his production. His ADP though is another story. I'm an animal guy. I'm not just a cat guy. I never understood people who are so firmly one or the other. Okay, Trevor. I mean, Trevor's nice, but would be unstacked. But it's between Corum and Rico, and we're going Rico. I just think the difference between Corum and Rico is Corum is probably the Corum is the RB2 at worst. He probably will play some this year. And maybe he grows into a timeshare. He's not going to be the RB1 to start the day. Whereas Rico is potentially just the RB1 from week 1 on. You know? So I feel like I could not pass on Rico there. How about the Miami camp buzz around Mike Hawks big? Oh man, good job, chat. If you want me to read out more things like that, like the stream or something. And if you're not up and running on Underdog, you can use promo code Cheslium for a $250 deposit match. There's not another streamer who would put you Janus. Yeah, we're willing to do things on this channel. 109 likes is soft. Help me out. If you are not actively creating 5 new YouTube accounts a week to subscribe to my channel, then what are you doing? Just kidding. And if you're not in my Discord, the link to join that is below. It's free. It's free to join. Mean. Boo. So TJ Hawkinson is not a good pick for this team where, he might not play for a while, so it's just not the type of guy we want to take. I think grabbing a guy like Algier is defensible. I think if I knew I could get Komet and Stafford, I would take Komet with the hope of getting Stafford. But the Cooper Cup drafter only has 1 quarterback, and this room is doing crazy stuff. So we're simply going to secure a second quarterback. This is what I was talking about earlier, where when you have such a good start, there is no reason to push getting Stafford in the 12th versus 13th. Okay, I would get Stafford in the 13th a lot, but I'd be pretty bummed the times I don't. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm simply going to lock it up. He stacks with Puka, right? we have Seattle pieces, we have 49ers pieces, so we're correlating that division. He's a great second quarterback with Daniels, where even if Daniels is a bit slow, Stafford gives us some consistency there. And that makes our start Daniels and Stafford, Walker, Swift, Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, Amon-Ra, Puka, Aiyuk, Tank, Flowers, Watson. And we're hoping we can get like Komet in the next round. Justin Fields goes pick. I mean, he was in consideration for me for sure, just because you could easily see him being on the winning team. But I have Fields on a lot of my marathon teams in the 18th round. How rare do you think Jamar Chase and Marvin Harrison Jr. is? Quite rare. I was at a wedding. But thank you. I did not go Trevor Lawrence, no. Didn't stack, didn't see a reason to do that. Komet goes. So let's come up with a backup here. I could even go like Geno with Ken Walker just to get a third quarterback with a pulse there. I like all these running backs pretty equally. Like Chuba sure has early season, but we're going to take Musgrave because I think Musgrave is a legitimate swing at upside. Also has some downside, right? Like if Tucker Kraft gets him, but I personally am on the Musgrave side there. Further adds to our Packers bet against the Lions. We got the Bears, so adds to those pieces there. And feels like a good tight end to have as our tight end one for a room that's probably going 3 tight ends. Let's see. We have 5 more picks to play with, so yeah, probably just going to go 2 more tight ends, a quarterback, and 2 more running backs. And do like the 3-6-6-3. It's a little bit double condomy, where I mean, I could totally stop at 2 quarterbacks with Daniels and Stafford, but I kind of just want a third there. I definitely need 3 tight ends. I could probably stop at 5 running backs too, but I think there's enough downside possibility with Swift, Brown, and Dowdle that I want 6. So yeah, we're just gearing towards a 3-6-6-3. I think Aiyuk will play for the 49ers, but I don't know, man. Fields coming in real hot. Fields went pick 143, so not getting him in this draft. I don't think that's safe to say. Drafts are going to get pretty soft towards the end of the year. I have to save some of my BBM bullets just because I'd like to get like at least 30. Let's see. We have done 114. So I'd like to get at least 30 like when the contest is 90+% filled. Robbie Chosen working out with 49ers. What's the FUD on Komet? It's the same FUD on Schultz. It's that there are 3 elite wide receivers, so that doesn't leave a room for a lot. But personally, I think he's just going to have some spike weeks still, So I'm hoping to sneak one of these running backs back to me. Definitely feel like that is the prudent decision. Which by ADP I should. Tight end, I might need to piecemeal a little bit because I would like to get one of these guys. For whatever reason, their ADP is like 20 spots higher in the marathon. Again, I don't know what's going on over there. But we're going to draft the running back first. Although, maybe we shouldn't. We're trying to thread a needle here. We're trying to get both one of these tight ends, preferably Henry or Conklin, and we're trying to get Ray Davis and or Gibson. These guys have higher ADPs, but I don't know if that matters. Tight ends are going pretty high in this draft. I don't know. Well, we're going to take running back and figure it out. I think Ray Davis is a fifth legitimate upside swing where he should have some standalone value. He obviously has the contingent upside. He also has more upside than you would expect because Josh Allen is not a guarantee to rush as much this year. Maybe they punch in Ray more, a little bit more there. He's got downside too, right? Like Ty Johnson could be the RB2, but that doesn't seem that likely. So I like him as our RB5 here. Rot 98% filled. I'm not getting any in because there's only slow drafts left. What makes you lean 3 QB here? I already talked about that, but it's just the pure quality of the rest of my team. Where if I didn't have such a rare Amon-Ra Puka start, I think if this was just like kind of like a good draft, but nothing crazy, I would probably be going 2 QB because I think this is defensible to stop at 2. And I do think that 2 QB is a higher pure ceiling team build. But when you have such a rare combinatorial start, that kind of pushes me to a 3rd QB just for a bit of safety and points reasons. This is not BBM. This is the marathon. Condom this. Wrap it up. I mean, looks like our 3rd quarterback is not going to be desirable as is. So pretty great. We're getting one of at least Hunter or Likely. I think we prefer the safety of Hunter, who, for me, when I'm drafting tight ends, I'm generally trying to draft tight ends who I think could be their team's number 1 wide receiver. So that's what leads me to like guys like Hunter Henry more than guys like Noah Fant, where Noah Fant is trying to be the Cole Kmet of his team, right? A good 4th receiving option. Hunter Henry maybe is just their team's number 1 as far as we know, you know? So pretty great to get, I prefer Conklin over Henry. ADP prefers Henry. It's obviously close anyways, but pretty good to get Henry as our tight end too. Gives us a nice high flourish tight end combination where if I'm nutted out at wideout and running back, as long as I'm not getting crushed at tight end, I can still win. Do you feel better taking a QB unstacked in total points? Yeah, definitely feel better about it. Still not something I'm trying to do. Again, we're trying to hit just how you win a total points contest is you score a lot of points each week consecutively, which is generally easier to do when you're stacked, right? So if Puka's having a big week, Stafford probably had an okay week. I think the biggest beneficiary of an Adams trade would probably be Jacoby Myers, right? Like maybe Bowers is their 1, but Myers is just the unquestioned wide receiver 1 if Adams was traded. I'm kind of glad Noah Fant was drafted. It takes out the question of am I going to draft this maybe injured guy? Ben Sinnott is definitely an upside swing and correlates with Jaden Daniels. We know he has downside too, though. This might be a Drake May team. and just hope that Drake May is starting eventually. I think both May and Nix are upside picks. Likely goes, so there goes that. I'd like to take Herbert, but we have Swift. And I like Mitchell, obviously with CMC strained, but it could be Jordan Mason. So I don't know. We're going to be splitting hairs with this group of guys no matter what. I think we'll just pass that running back this round and go tight end. So I would say Sanat would be the courageous pick and his upside. The thing about Jonnu is like he might not even be an upside selection himself. All right. I've drafted almost no Audric Estime. So he's certainly not like one of my core players. But he's getting buzz. Oh, man, I wish I didn't do that. I wish I took Denir Prince over him. I'm kind of hoping Jonnu gets sniped, so I have to settle for Sanat. I don't know. Estime is going up in price. I don't think he's the best upside swing because he plays for the Broncos. And then it's like, how much does Javonte play? How much does McLaughlin play? How much does Estime play? Does Estime play? But whatever. We made our bed. We selected him. Just got to get a couple big weeks from him. He's a big boy, so could be goal line back. And even if both of these tight ends are drafted, they're still like, I mean, like all of these guys, I think are decent picks. No, Braylon Allen went pick 174. Big boy equal big weeks. That's the hope. That's the hope. Nope, that's unofficial. So here's Audric Estime. Big guy, not fast. Jeez, his unofficial numbers were way faster. So goal line back. Miles Sanders. Jeez. All right. There's so many tight ends we can draft. We're gonna take Bo Nix. I personally think Drake May is a little bit more upside than Bo Nix, but Bo Nix correlates with Estime, and we'll end this sucker with Greg Dulcich and also get a stack that way. And so, am I a little bit thin only having 6 wide receivers? Sure, but like they're all so good. It's just like, please don't get hurt. Only 2 of them have a week 14 bye. That means every single, like, week 14, I have 4 elite wide receivers still. Every single week except for week 14, I at least have 5 of these guys going. Definitely going third tight end. Maybe I'll regret the next pick, right? Where it's just like it's a little double con to me, as I said, where it's like if I don't need his points and Daniels and Stafford is good enough, I definitely would have liked either a 4th tight end, 7th wide receiver, or 7th running back. But I think 6 running backs is definitely the move when Ken Walker, should be just his team's 1. Swift should be his team's 1. Chase Brown is in probably just a timeshare. And Rico seems like he's going to be his team's 1, if not in a timeshare. Ray Davis, his team's 2. And then Estime is the question mark correlated piece. No one correlated with Daniels, which is fine, right? Like, we're drafting Daniels for his rushing ability. Musgrave and Hunter Henry, no, we're not writing home having this tight end combo, but it's also like enough upside for the strength I have at the other 3 positions. Like Henry had roughly 100 something points, roughly 100 last year. Musgrave had, Musgrave got hurt, but he ran real bad on touchdowns. The only thing that's like I would say 5% uncomfortable with Musgrave is Tucker Kraft, but I just think Musgrave is a better pick. Is Colby Parkinson dead now? Why are you asking about now? I personally like Davis Allen. Okay, so Sanat goes, so we don't even have to make that choice. I've drafted so much Sanat that I kind of like getting different here. Juwan is unquestionably going to score around 80 to 100 points. So, like, that has safety. Dulcich, though, I think is the biggest upside swing. Theo is also an upside swing. So we're going Dulcich. He's playing right now. He's practicing. He looks good. He's fast. He correlates with Bo Nix. Just please don't be a 0. Please don't get hurt again. Be a major bummer if we did not win this tournament because we took Dulcich instead of Juwan Johnson. But I think you just have to correlate there. And I think Dulcich is an upside swing. Lucas Kroll's going to play a little bit. So is Troutman. But still. So 3-6-6-3. That was the plan. We landed it. Daniel Stafford, Knicks. Hope Stafford is for sure playing week 14. Walker, Swift, Brown, Dowdle, Ray Davis, Estime. Cromulent running back room. Amon-Ra, Puka, Aiyuk, Tank, Flowers, Watson. The crown jewel of this team is hopefully this team is just like getting 80 points between his 3 wide receiver spots and flex each week, And then if we can slot in like, just call it 6 points from our tight end, which is a little low, that's 86. Call it 20 at quarterback, that's 106. And then 2 running back spots. So it's like call it 15 each. Maybe a little optimistic, but that would be 136 a week. If you average that, I think you win the contest, So it definitely gets tough when you have a really good team because you're like, you saw me. I'm like, do I want this 3rd quarterback? Usually I'm not doing a 3rd quarterback there. Do I want, am I going to take Estime? Like, who's my 6th running back going to be? Who's my 3rd tight end going to be? So. All right, guys, that's going to end it for today. Rip 3 stream. Sorry for not doing it Monday or Tuesday. My back's just been hurting. Hoping to have managed rankings live tomorrow. Going to think through those. It's a different beast, of course. Going to have updated my underdog rankings today. Going to update my DraftKings rankings and drafters rankings either tonight or I'll just push them out in the morning. And dropped a free article for those who sign up at beatbestball.com on how to approach players whose ADPs change. Kind of funny. Mike Williams was one of those guys, and then his ADP, he got activated off a pup, which I'm sure will change things. And $99 for a year gets you covered for all things best ball. If you sign up now, you'll have my best ball rankings all through next year until August 7th as well. Of course, you'll get covered for the playoff best ball as well. If you plan to play real playoff best ball, I'll have in-season best ball. All right, guys, that's what I got. Like, subscribe, peace out. See you tomorrow.